Have you guys watched yourselves back on the show? How do you feel like you were portrayed?
Some bits.
We watched bits. I feel like there wasn't many bits that were shown.
Can't really say how we were portrayed. We were barely shown.
No, we've watched bits that we get, obviously our main bits, our highlights, best bits, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, like I keep saying on other interviews and stuff, there's so much they've got to get into an episode. It's ridiculous. Like, there's so many amazing stories going on.
Yeah.
It is hard to squeeze everybody in. So I feel like what was shown of us wasn't particularly bad. It just maybe there wasn't enough.
Well, yeah, they definitely, it just...
But now we're on the outside, we can show everyone what's
How we really
going on.
are.
Yeah, what's really going on.
Now, obviously, Danny, you were in another relationship before. You were with Yewande.
Yeah, I was.
Have you seen her since the show's
I've
finished?
seen her, yeah. We saw her at...
Literally 2 days ago.
2 days ago at the final party. So we went to watch the final live and Yewande was there.
Did you speak to her?
We spoke, yeah. We said hi, we got on and...
Yeah.
It was quite...
It was fine, I think.
Fine, yeah.
What about you, Jourdan? Like, that must be quite weird.
It was the first time I had officially met her, seen her, because obviously there's been loads of conversations about myself, Danny, Yewande and Arabella, like, just as a group, but I'd actually never met them all for most of it. I'd met Arabella last week and now finally met Yewande, and do you know what? I think at first all of us were a bit like, okay, this is the first time we've been put in this situation.
It's the first time I've seen her.
Like,
I've seen Arabella a couple of times at events and stuff, but I've not seen Yewande since. So I think just because of the whole space of time, like, there's been that long not seeing each other, I think it was a little bit frosty, but...
I made a point of making sure that I spoke to her multiple times to make sure that where neither of our times on the show crossed over at any point, there didn't need to be any, like, issues between us, and I'd like to think that there isn't. So I made a point of checking she was okay, saying hello, giving her a hug and a kiss when we walked in, so on my part of things...
Do you feel like she made an effort with you?
I feel like she might have been a bit like, this is a weird situation. I think for all of us it was a bit like a...
I think it's hard. I think
how is
when
this...
when you're in there, I want to stress enough is, like, I can't stress enough is that, like, although you're in a couple and you're in a relationship, it is very much like early stages, no matter who you're with. And you've only known each other for a few days. But then when you get out, obviously so much intensity and kind of... I think because Yewande left a lot earlier than me as well, I think that period where I was still in there and she was out, I think a lot of the media have kind of made her feel like it's such a big deal. When it actually wasn't that much to get kind of stressed about. And I think when we saw each other the other night, it kind of just proved that it could be just...
Everything kind of went...
Everything just settled quickly, I think
initially it was probably for all of us a bit like, okay. And then obviously when we watched the finals, we also watched everyone's time in the villa from start to end. So obviously everything resurfaced again, and then that was a bit like, okay, but other than that, it was...
They showed our best bits.
Yeah.
Which is just all my bad bits.
You're a few. But other than that, it was, it was fine. I think it was one of those things where if I saw her even before reunion or at reunion, we'd be fine now. Like, we've broken that initial ice.
But Danny, people got so invested in your relationship with Yewande.
Yeah, she was a fan favourite.
So what's the response been like on social media? Have you received any abuse?
Yeah, I've talked about it a couple of
Quite
times.
a lot.
Now. Yeah, I've had absolutely tons. I think partly because Yewande was so loved. You know, anyone that would have kind of decision that led to her leaving would have got some sort of backlash. Obviously, when you're in there, you can't control who leaves. Sometimes there's recouplings and no one gets dumped. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Like, so when I chose Arabella, not Yewande, no one was to say she was going to be dumped that night. And I think if she didn't get dumped that night, it would have been a completely different story.
Yeah,
I think it's because she actually left the villa that night, which caused a lot of people to be really angry at me as if it was my fault. Obviously, I can only do what's best for me. I had to pick whoever I thought was more suitable. And if you asked Yewande who, you know, would have been more suitable, she wouldn't have picked herself because we wasn't that suitable at the time. It's just the fact she got dumped that night, which caused a lot of the backlash.
And yeah, I think obviously the way we've seen it, it just unfortunately just wasn't necessarily the best of situations. Like even the couple of days before, just everything leading up to it was quite like a big build-up and quite a dramatic situation when obviously I wasn't in the villa at the time, but what seemed like in the villa, it was dramatic, but it wasn't as obviously show. Yeah. So it was definitely heightened it. But I think because of everything that went down and now us being together and stuff like that, there's been quite a lot of negativity. But then on the flip side, quite a lot of positivity, you know, like we go places and we genuinely get so much love and support.
People are really nice in person, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just the keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors
behind
behind screens.
Stuff, yeah.
I've realised that it doesn't matter what you do, people are always going to have something to say. You could breathe and someone could say to you, you've breathed wrong.
When the series started, lots of people were complaining about the lack of diversity on Love Island.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that was tackled well this year?
I think they knocked out the park this year, if you ask me. I feel like they really... in comparison to last year and definitely the years before, they heard and read, Twitter especially, but social media and the media had to say about the lack of diversity. And I feel like this year, they covered all grounds. They covered areas, races, sizes, everything you could possibly imagine was covered this year, as far as they could.
And how's the aftercare been? Like, have the producers been in touch with you to see how your mental health's going, just to see how you're
Yeah, there's
you're
actually
keeping up?
quite a good amount of support whilst you're in the villa and when you come out. Nothing can quite prepare you for what's coming on the outside, to be honest. There's nothing that can quite prepare you for it, but they do help a lot. There's a sort of a therapist and psychologist at hand whenever you need. Added to, like, obviously when I came out, it was a bit of a backlash, so there was extra security if I wanted it, and I know it's the same with a few other people as well. So there definitely is a lot of support when you come out from ITV.
Yeah, and it's there if you're willing to also contact them. Obviously, they've got quite a few islanders to look after, so it is a case of sometimes you do also have to do the reaching out and saying, like, hi, this is what's going on, what can be done as well. So it's definitely like a relationship where it takes both parties to actively, like, proactively do something about it to get something out of it.